Hey everybody, you're watching the Christiana 321. I'm the Christiana, and we are starting a 7 books in 7 days challenge, which means that I have to read 7 books in 7 days. I actually, one sec. There we go, much better. I, just before this, saw that I had passed my final class, which I wasn't actually that worried about. I was a little bit worried about, but just in the, anything can happen kind of way. Also, I'm not wearing the full thing. There's more to it than this. And I don't actually know how this part goes on because I've never graduated from a master's program before, and we didn't have this as a bachelor. Anyway, um, so I've got about a week until I leave for my trip down to where I'm graduating from Vanderbilt. This will probably go up around then or after I get back. I don't know. Am I gonna vlog while I'm on the trip? I don't know. I might just let my boyfriend vlog in. You can go check it out on his channel. But this video is not about him. This video is about reading 7 books in 7 days. So it is approximately 6 p.m. on Tuesday, May 2nd. That sounds right. Um, so I have until 6 p.m. next Tuesday to read 7 books. The first book I'm going to read, I'm just really excited about. It's a little bit long for this challenge, so maybe it's a mistake having it be my first book. But it is The Cat Who Saved Books by Sasuke Natsukawa. Natsukawa, translated by Louise Hill Kawai. If you saw my video about all the books that I bought in April, it tells you about this basically magical realism. A secondhand bookshop in Japan is gonna close until this magical cat comes and convinces the owner to save books with him. Something like that. I don't know because I haven't read it yet, but I'm gonna get started right now and I'll check in with you later. I was really, so I was a little bit, I don't know, superstitious about this, so I wasn't gonna wear it until I got my last grade in, and I'm so glad that I did. But I was a little bit worried because I hadn't even pulled it out of the box that there was gonna be something wrong with it, and I wasn't gonna have time to like get a replacement or anything because I was, I was waiting. But anyway, now I have all my grades, so I don't feel bad putting it on. Also, it cost a lot of money. I was supposed to be able to rent it, and that did not work out, so I ended up buying it, but that's fine. I'll figure something to do with it after this. We'll see. Hi. So I got about a quarter of the way through the cat. I got about a quarter of the way through the cat who saves books. Saved books. We got through the first labyrinth. I don't know how many labyrinths are going to be, but basically, it seems like each of the challenges to save books involve going through a labyrinth. And it was good. It was made me think a lot, which makes me think that it's going to take me a really long time to get through this book because I'll be sitting there and thinking about my relationship to books and people in my life and things. It's very good. I always struggle with um, books that have been translated or works that have been translated with what is the author's um like what all has been changed, because part of it, at least, I mean, when books are written in England and then republished in America, they change some of the words so that, like, slang words and stuff to the American version of the slang word and that sort of thing. Um, but so in this book, there's a lot of references to popular English authors or authors who write in English. They're not all England English. Anyway, um, so I wonder if in the original Japanese version of this book, um, if it's making reference to Japanese books and authors. It's not clear. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like it could go either way. I don't know how popular those books are in Japan. The ones that are being referenced, but I mean, they are super popular ones. But I don't know that many classic literature Japanese authors. So why would I assume that Japanese people know classic literature English authors? Um, very uh like what is it called? Confirmation bias, self bias, whatever, the thing where you assume that other people have the same thoughts and experiences as you, or like that your thoughts and experiences are in the majority kind of thing. I don't know. I am a little bit tired. I shouldn't be. It's not that late. It's like 8 o'clock. Um, but I do have some other work that I gotta get going on, so I'm gonna do that and then I'll come back and I'll read some more. Actually, I'm gonna get changed out of this turtleneck. Like all day, it's been the worst. It's cute and I like the way it looks, but I'm just not used to turtlenecks. Or maybe this one's a little too tight. I don't know. It's not super tight, but I am very aware of it, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'll see you later. Update. It is now Thursday and I have read like 2 more pages since the last time we talked, which puts me very far behind. I should be about 2 books in, or at least finishing my second book now. I am still reading the Cat Saved Books. It is delightful. And so yeah, I'm on my lunch break. Ideally, I would be taking a shower during this lunch break, but I think I'll do that after work. And so I'm gonna try and get maybe 10 pages in. We'll see. Lunch break. I already ate, but I ate very quickly. So, ooh, books. Hey, we're having a fun post shower. Haven't like done anything to my hair yet. Moment. Fortune just tried and failed to jump up on the couch. Uh, she's a goofy one. So I did not finish The Cat Who Saved Books. I got a little bit further in it, but I decided in order to get like a quick win and make sure that I'm actually finishing books, I was going to read a different book that I could finish in one sitting. So I'm reading the poetry collection In the Village That Is Not Burning Down by Travis Nathan Brown. So I'm about halfway through. I didn't really film myself reading it because, yes. Okay. I didn't really film myself reading it because, I mean, a portion of it I was on in the bathroom, hence my very fancy bookmark made of toilet paper. But basically, so far, I don't get it. I'm reading the words on the pages, but I don't understand what he's trying to say. And maybe it's the kind of thing where you have to read the whole thing and then it makes sense. But I don't get it. And some of them I enjoy. I really like the like flow, the like rhythm. Hang on. I really like the rhythm of the words that he's using. Like it has good ear feel to it. but a lot of his poems have no punctuation, capital letters or whatever. They have line breaks, but sometimes the same thought, starts halfway through a line and is continued onto the next line, that sort of thing. And it's really difficult for me to keep track of what thought is happening. And I think that's a big reason why I don't understand what's happening. But I'm going to finish this and then do some work. And then do some work. All right, book 1 finished. I mean, technically it's book 2, but I didn't finish book 1 yet. Anyway, In the Village That Is Not Burning Down. Poems by Travis Nathan Brown. It was enjoyable to read. I feel like I am very much missing a piece of the puzzle as to how to interpret it. There's a lot of poems that are like manufacturing, and so it's very much giving Industrial Revolution, and like some elements that were reminding me or bringing up like Great Depression, World War II kind of vibes. But then there's a poem that references the Vietnam War, or the American Vietnam War. And so I don't get it. But I read the little like about the author. He was born in Illinois, but he lives, at least at the time of writing that, about the author in here, lives in Wisconsin, in Wausau. I will let my boyfriend make fun of my pronunciation of that, because as a non-native Wisconsin, I constantly mispronounce Wisconsin town names. Anyway, Wausau or something. So I've been making videos a long time in the making of Wisconsin books. So maybe this should be in that video too. And so I shouldn't say too much right now. I will say there's a line in here that might be my favorite about, in the beginning, there was milk and cereal, or there's plenty of milk and cereal, but nobody had thought to combine them yet. Something like that. I like that. I want to make that a Facebook status. So now I'm going to do my real grown-up work, and if I finish early, I'll read a little bit more of the Cat Safe books. But I have a feeling I'm just gonna want to go to sleep. So I will probably see you tomorrow. So it's now 4 a.m. Because some of my work is kind of like repetitive, I don't want to say non-thinking, but I don't need to be totally focused in order to get it done kind of work. I need to be focused when I check it and everything, but it's really repetitive. Anyway, I was able to listen to an audiobook. Started listening to Agnes Grey by Charlotte Bronte. I did not check to see how far I had gotten. I think though it was around chapter 9. Not Charlotte Bronte. What did I say? Anne Bronte. It's about this girl who decides she wants to be a governess and earn some money, see the world. And the first house that she went to was terrible. The second house seems better, but also seems kind of terrible. And at a certain point, it's like they want her to basically be a homeschool teacher, but she has no qualifications. Her only idea was, I was a kid recently, so I can teach kids probably. I don't know. It reads a little bit like Jane Austen, but I don't know if that's just because I'm listening to an audiobook and it might be the same narrator that I've had for Jane Austen books. I don't know. But I have to wake up for work in 4 hours. So I'm gonna go to sleep. Good morning. It is Friday. It's now 10 o'clock. I did wake up. Okay, so just now after work, I did get to take a little lunch break nap. I feel amazing. Now I have about an hour before boyfriend's gonna come so that we can go get dinner, and he's gonna maybe fix my washer machine, which would be great. So I could take another nap, or I can get dressed and then read while waiting for him to make his way down. Might be more than an hour. I think I'm gonna get dressed and go downstairs and read. Maybe watch some YouTube. And this is why I'm not doing so well on the challenge, you guys. One of the things I want to do, and this might be a Sunday event, is you know those little craft projects I've been doing? If you've been around for a while, I was trying to find a new hobby. So maybe I listen to an audiobook while doing one of my hobbies. I got some new little kits to do that I think would be good. One of them, I'll talk about this in whatever hobby video whenever I get around to doing it. A lot of these kits are geared towards people who are new to crafting, or at least a particular craft. And so sometimes that means that they're geared towards children. I try not to get the ones that are like solely for kids, because like I'm not gonna make pasta macaroni art for my fridge. But this one's kind of in the middle. It's not one that I think I'm gonna continue beyond, but I am very curious about how it works and if it's gonna look good or not. We're in that weird part of the weather. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. This is what happens when I do not get enough sleep. But so the weather is at this weird stage where it's like it could go either way, especially if you go out in the evening. Could be okay to be wearing, you know, t-shirts and whatever, or like a dress, or that could be death. So I'm gonna wear blue jeans and a nice top, but I'm trying to decide if I want to wear a sweater or not. Sweaters are warm. They don't do well with the wind though, and so normally I might just like wear a nice top and then throw a jacket over it. But my go-to jacket right now is a jean jacket. I'm wearing a jean jacket with the blue jeans. I mean, I'm in the Midwest, so why not? Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking to you so that I can get dressed. Bye, Java. Hey everybody, welcome to Saturday evening. I have not finished The Cat Who Saved Books. It's really good. I'm just kind of savoring it. So I decided, I've read a little bit more of Agnes Grey. I think I'll finish that one today easily. There's about an hour and a half left on the audiobook. It's pretty good. I always wanted to read something by Anne Bronte. I don't know if she has any other books besides Agnes Grey, but there are 3 Bronte sisters, and Anne, for whatever reason, is the least famous. But the book so far is good. I have predictions. I'm really enjoying it. It is reminding me a lot of like Jane Austen, Charlotte Bronte, the other one. But that time period, that kind of like, I don't know, like romance novel, but it's not steamy romance, you know, where everything's in between the words, in between the lines. So I'm hoping that it has as satisfying an ending as Jane Austen books. I don't know, maybe there's a reason why Anne is the least famous sister. For my physical book, I started The Hen Who Dreamed She Could Fly. I'm hoping that I'm filming on my front camera, and I don't remember if it's gonna flip it so that the words are going the right way or not. I don't remember how it does it. Anyway, so I just started it. I'm literally like 2 pages in, so far seems great. It's being told from the point of view of the hen, and yeah, I don't know how much longer I have to read. This is boyfriend's house, is at work, and so I'm basically just waiting for him to be done working so that we can get dinner and hang out. I know I didn't film any of us hanging out last night. Maybe I will tonight, but it doesn't really have to do with reading, unless he's gonna read as well. But that's not really one of his hobbies, so I don't know if that's gonna happen. Anyway, it's by Sun Mi Huang, or Sun Mi Huang? I feel like it's Sun Mi Huang. Korean. Cool. Translated by Chi Young Kim. Probably, that's how you pronounce that. My first Korean book on the list? I think so. I have a pile of shorter books, or books that I think I can read quickly, and theoretically I would have gotten through a lot of them by now, but time management and also just wanting to hang out with my boyfriend. Happy Sunday. How's it going? I decided to read outside. It's a beautiful day, like 70 degrees, a little windy, a little sunny. So I'm out here at Kimberly Point Lighthouse. That's the lighthouse on Lake Winnebago. That's the lake. And we're gonna read for a little bit. So I don't think I mentioned before I came to the park, but I finished Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. It was great. So now I need to start my next audiobook, which I think is going to be Beowulf. I've never read it. I do have a book that I bought recently that's like it's not a retelling, but it's focused on a character from Beowulf, I guess. I'm not positive that the one that I have is the right one, because it says that it's by anonymous, but I thought Beowulf was not by an anonymous poet. Like, I thought that it was a real person, or like a known person. Anyway, I've never read it. I know a lot of people read it in high school, so I'm excited. I think it's an epic poem. I should know things before I start books. Anyway, so sitting by the lake. I moved a little bit so I was more in the sun. So a little bit colder than I was expecting just with the wind. I really wish that I had brought a jacket, just like a light jacket for the wind mostly. But I've got about 40 pages left in The Hen, what's it called? The Hen Who Dreamed She Could Fly. It's, oh my, it's dealing with a lot of themes and ideas that are very heavy, but told from the perspective of a hen, who, like, she dreams that she can fly, yeah, sure, but it's mostly about motherhood, and, like, she really wants to be a mom, but she can't because of the, like, she's a hen that is used for laying eggs, and then got a text message, but then she like finds an egg and hatches it. I don't know, it's kind of getting into spoilers territory. It's hard with really short books not to get into spoilers territory because you're 40 pages into a book and it's halfway through, and so normally you can talk about the first 40 pages of a book, but not when it's really short. Anyway, so if you are someone who has had fertility issues or like different struggles with becoming a mom or a dad, probably too, and adoption and all of that, really heavy stuff, but then also ideas about, like, I guess kind of in line with adoption, where if you adopt and your kid is from a culture that's different from yours, how, like, what responsibility do you have to raise that kid with, like, their like birth culture, I guess, versus your culture, and because there's some things that, you know, they might deal with in their life that you don't have experience with just because you're a different race, or whatever. It's not exactly one-to-one, and it's hard to talk about without giving spoilers. Anyway, it's yeah, a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be, but it's so good. Like, I read through the first, I guess, maybe like 2/3, 3/4 of the book so quickly, and I am dying to finish it, but it was just getting too windy, and so I need to be in a place with less wind, which I think is going to be inside. Although this car is so warm because I turned off the AC for filming purposes, and now I just want a nap. I'm not going to take a nap though. I'm going to finish this book. Well, I'm going to start my next audiobook as I drive home, and then I'll finish this book. Okay. It's Sunday, started on Tuesday, and I finished 2 books. This 7 books in 7 days challenge is going great. So, change of plans. Apparently, the version of Beowulf that I had downloaded for my audiobook was in the original Saxon. So instead, I started listening to a collection of short stories by Anton Chekhov. So far, everybody's got tuberculosis. Depending on which portions of the internet you frequent, if you watch a lot of content with John Green in it, he's been very obsessed with tuberculosis for a while now. So I just keep on thinking of different fun facts that he's shared, and how they revolutionized how tuberculosis is partially why women's shoes are so beautiful. Sometimes uncomfortable, but beautiful. Anyway, I'm back home now, so I'm going to finish up The Hen Who Dreamed She Could Fly, and then maybe make some more progress on The Cat Who Saved Books. I do really enjoy it. I've been savoring it, which is not what you want in this kind of challenge. So, since we last talked, I finished The Hen Who Dreamed She Could Fly. Great book. Like I said, if you're a mother or on a motherhood journey or have been at some point in your life, could be very much more emotional. Like, it was emotional for me, but since that's not where I'm at in life, I feel like it wasn't quite as impactful, but also it was just like, it was a lot. And I have a lot of opinions about The Hen. There's a squirrel that is on my porch, and I think he's trying to get to my bird feeder. Anyway, it did make me kind of want to raise my own chickens. So, boyfriend, if you're watching this, at some point we own a house together, what do you think about raising some chickens? Mostly for eggs, but also just like as pets, and they can be super cute and it would be fun, right? That might be the opposite of the point of this book, because the hen in this book did not like being made to lay eggs that were not for raising a chicken. Raising it like a baby chick. Or getting to like set on her eggs. But she was also like confined to a very small coop for most of her life before this book took place. So we could give them a better coop and like area to run around outside. Can you raise chickens in Wisconsin? I know people do it, but like, what do they do when it's cold outside? I don't imagine chickens are well equipped for the snow. So there's got to be like someplace that they can be. Or maybe they are equipped for the snow and I just know nothing about chickens. Also, figured out the Beowulf thing. There's another free version of Beowulf out there that was not in the original Saxon, was just like, has been translated to English. There were a few options actually. And the one that I got, I will let you know in the future who translated it, because there were a lot of different translators, and I feel like, well, when I was looking at them, they were all different lengths, and not by just like a couple of minutes. Some were significantly different by an hour, and I don't know, maybe the translator had, you know, an introduction, forward, you know, translator's note or something in there that would constitute the majority of that extra time. But yeah, I picked one that sounded good, and so might read that one. Might continue with the Chekhov short stories. I don't know, but for right now, I'm going to try and finish one more book before getting to work for the evening. I don't have a lot of work that has to get done today. There's a couple of like things that don't directly contribute to a project, and so it's difficult to associate them with time code. But I'd like to finish one more book, because I'm at 3 now of my 7 that I'd like to get done. And one of the work things that I need to do is something that I can be listening to an audiobook, Beowulf or Chekhov, while I'm listening, or while I'm working, because it doesn't require that part of my brain. So hopefully I'll get to do some of that. Anyway, the 2 books that I have picked out are Italo Calvino by Marco Valdo, just this one that is about the guy in Italy during an Italian industrial city, and it's kind of like his philosophy on life is that the purpose is to lessen the burden of those around you, which is kind of similar to my philosophy on the purpose of life, which I think is really cool. Oh, sorry, that was my thumb. So it seems like the main character, Marco Valdo, dang it. The book is called Marco Valdo. It's by Italo Calvino. These words mean nothing to me. I mean, they're both names, so I guess that's why it's easy to be confused. But neither of them really sound like names either to my, like, very American person. Anyway, it's another translated book, which is cool. The other one that I was thinking of is The Autobiography of Red by Anne Carson, which, if you watched my April book haul, I got this during April. I was talking about it. I hadn't heard of it before I went to the bookstore and saw it on one of their like read a book in a day tables. It's a novel in verse about this creature named Red. And stuff that happens. But then, like, either after I filmed it or right after I published it, I watched a video by another booktuber that I like, Emmy, of Emmy Reads, or at least that's what it used to be, Emma, where she was talking about this. I think the video was all about Canadian authors because she's Canadian, and so Anne Carson is Canadian. I know some of you guys out there who I talk to are from Canada, so I thought that was cool. But she also, Emma, was talking about what this book is actually about because, like I said, I hadn't heard of it. I just kind of read the back of it, and it is the character Red is from the Heracles myth, the like Greek myth, and so this is expanding on that world and like telling the story of that particular character within the Heracles storyline. He's got something to do with one of the trials of Heracles. I don't know really anything about that story, that myth, which I feel like I did at one point because I was super obsessed with Greek mythology in my youth, like in 4th grade through, I don't know, I want to say middle school maybe. I read a lot of Greek mythology, but most of it was around the Trojan War. So I don't know if I would have even read the Heracles myth. Anywho, I don't remember what else I was going to say. So these are the two that I'm kind of picking between right now, which one to start. I think I might go with the Italian one for now. And then if it is too challenging for me, I might go to the Autobiography of Red. Translated works can be challenging for me for various reasons. But Autobiography of Red is a novel in verse, which is also challenging for me. Why am I doing BookTube? I don't exclusively do BookTube, but I am right now. I'm just rambling. This video is not very interesting. Maybe it's interesting. I haven't started editing it yet, so I guess we'll see. It's Monday. How's it going? I did not end up finishing my book last night or working because I got tired. So I'm continuing on Marco Valdo by Italo Calvino in my breaks throughout the day. I should be able to finish by the end of the work day. Basically reading one chapter each break. The chapters are real short, they're like 5 minutes. So doing that, and then, so that'll be book number 4 of my 7 books in 7 days challenge on day 6. So I should be able to finish Beowulf tonight, and so that'll put me at 5. So then I just need to finish 2 more. Getting it kind of close. We'll see. I think last year I need to, before I edit this, but after this week is over, I'm going to go back and watch last year's vlog, at least the ending of it, because it was like an hour long. And I lost, or there's a copyright claim on some of my background music, which is annoying. So if background music in this one is lacking, it's because I went, I just wanted to make sure that I was not going to get copyright struck again, or copyright claimed. I have a cat in my lap who is enjoying herself. Time for me to get back to work, and then I'll read some more later. Good morning. It is Tuesday, like 11:30, which means I've got 6.5 hours left of this challenge, most of which will be while I'm working. So, ooh. I just finished, I didn't tell you guys, I downloaded the audiobook for First Love by Ivan Turgenev. I should look that up before I lock that in. I have a different book by him called Fathers and Sons that I have a physical copy of that was on my list for last year reading, and I didn't get to it. But the audiobook for it was like 9 hours, even though it's a very short book. So now I'm wondering, do I have the abridged copy, or was the audiobook version more than just the one story? Anyway, First Love is there's like a group of dudes. This is in Russia. A group of dudes are chit chatting, and they want to tell the story of their first love. And one of them, the main character, which all of their names are in Russian, and listening to them, especially, I'm not going to be able to say them. Anyway, one of them has like an epic tale of his first love. Not actually an epic because it's still a like novella length story, but it is crazy. It starts off pretty normally, like girl moves in next door. She's super pretty. All the boys and men around are in love with her. Um, she's got that kind of way about her that she can make dudes fall in love with her at her will. We've all known some people like that, both men and women, at least in my life. Um, anyway, and then so main character is following her around like a little puppy dog, and it is real cute. And then stuff starts to happen. That would be spoilers, so I'm not gonna go into any more detail. But it was good. I'm not. I feel like last year I read a few Russian novels, or at least novels that were set in Russia. They're very strange to me, and I don't know why. Um, like maybe it's me being American and having all of the anti-Russian propaganda for my whole life that I have certain like preconceived biases and assumptions about Russia stories and lives and everything. I really couldn't tell you, but it's weird. I am on my lunch break now, so I might do some physical reading. I still haven't finished Marco Valdo. Also, not what I was expecting. So, going into it, I thought that I would relate to him in his ideas about life and like how to live a good life and everything. Um, he's so. Every time he tries to do something good and helpful and nice, um, it goes wrong. And part of it, I feel like, is he is a little bit selfish. And so the like being a good person actions that he takes, it's a little bit self-serving, a little bit like prideful, I guess, of I'm going to be a good person, that's why I'm doing this, instead of oh, I should help those people, you know. No, I'm not describing this very well. Anyway, so anytime he tries to do something nice, whether it's for good intentions or not, uh, things go wrong. And so I relate to that very much, where like I'm trying to do a good thing, the right thing, but like in some way or another, I kind of half-ass it, and then that comes back to bite me. It's not good. It's also not intentional. Also, in how many times can I say also? In the first chapter of the book, so the way that the book is split up, each chapter is like a short story from a season: winter, fall, spring, summer. Not in that order, in the correct order. It's 20 chapters, so it takes place over 5 years, going in order, with a short story from each one. So you don't always get like the full repercussion of him doing the thing poorly. Like one of the chapters ends basically like a police officer comes to his house and is like, "Hey, I heard that you were doing this thing that is illegal," and then some commotion happens, and that's the end of the story. We don't find it like, did he get fined? Did he just get a talking to? I mean, he's still a free man in the next chapter, so can't be that bad of a repercussion. Um, some of the ways that his life goes wrong, it's just like, he's a very unlucky kind of dude. But part of it is him. Well, okay, so it's set in the 50s and 60s, right? In Italy. And so some of the things, like in one of the chapters, he eats some mushrooms that he finds growing, and they turn out to be not like meant to be edible, or maybe they've got chemicals on them, I don't know, but he ends up getting sick. And so modern day, you would look up on your cell phone or like somehow on the internet, are these good mushrooms? No? Okay, I'm not going to consume those. So some of them, like, I don't know what resources he would have had where like he would have known better. And you'd say, well, if you don't know if a food is safe to eat, don't eat it. But at this time in Italy, at least in this town and for this particular family, they've got, I think, 4 kids, and they're very poor, and so it's like, he's tired of eating turnips every day. Hey. So he thinks that he finds like another food source that he doesn't have to pay for, and I can see in desperation wanting to have something other than turnips to eat. So I don't know what I would have done if I was in his situation, you know. But also, as we've discussed, I'm also like really awkward and unlucky, and while it would be great to be able to use resources to make sure that so that I don't spoil too far into the book, but the mushrooms are safe. Like if you're not able to do that, I guess, because also he didn't want too many people to know about the mushrooms, and then he wouldn't get to eat them. But then once he got some mushrooms, then he told everybody, "Oh hey, there's mushrooms," and then everybody got sick. That's kind of a spoiler, but it's like chapter 2 or something. Anyway, so it's 20 short stories over his life, or a few years of his life, just trying to be better, trying to make a better life for himself and his family, and where he can help the people around him. But he's a bit of a sad sack and very unlucky, and I do kind of relate to him in a way that I was not expecting. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep reading this, and I've got Beowulf, like I said, downloaded. So in the afternoon, I might be able to listen to that while working, because I've got some more kind of monotonous tasks. Although I'm gonna have a meeting here shortly that the result would be not monotonous tasks. But so if I finish this book and I finish Beowulf, I think I can do that by 6, no problem. But that would only be 6 books in 6 days, and that's the same that I did last time. It's very disappointing. Maybe I'll be able to finish one more, but it is quite doubtful that I'll be able to do that before 6 o'clock, while still doing my job, which is my number one responsibility. At least it's a responsibility above YouTube for sure. It makes me mad because early on in the challenge, like day 2, I just didn't read at all, or I read very, very minimal. Which means that if I had read that day, I would have, one more day of reading, which means I definitely would be able to finish this challenge. And so the only reason that I'm gonna fail is because I'm the worst. Hey, so I just finished book number 5. It's a novella called One Little Mistake that I got on Audible that I was listening to. Yeah, my afternoon of listening to Audible did get a little bit messed up. Sorry, I'm about to brush my teeth. Just because I had my one meeting, then during that meeting, my boss type person, lead, I don't know, called. And so then after the meeting, tried to call him back. Then he was in a meeting, and basically I just spent all afternoon waiting for this phone call to maybe happen. It never did. No, it did end up happening, but not till a few hours later. And I didn't want to keep I don't want him to call in the middle of a chapter, so I listened for a little bit, and then whenever it seemed like his meeting was going to be over and he might call, then, I would stop listening. So I did not get to listen as much as I had wanted to. Yes, my house is a mess. I decided to do the 7 books in 7 days challenge instead of the clean my house in 7 days challenge. Anyway, which means that I will likely not have a 6th book finished by 6 p.m. I will have 7 books finished today, though. I'm about to get in the car. It is just before 5, so it's actually a little bit early for me to leave. Maybe I shouldn't leave yet. But I'm going to I have an appointment that I need to drive to that's not an hour away, but I'll listen to my audiobook on the way, and then when I get back, I'll finish reading one of the several books that I've started reading. The next audiobook, I decided not to do Beowulf. It is slightly longer. The next one is another novella that comes with an Audible subscription. I want to say it's called How It Ends. But I could be wrong. I'll let you know. But yeah, it will take me past 6 to finish listening to it, and at 6 is when my appointment is. But I'll still, I'll talk to you later. Alright, so I am at the end of my official 7 days. I'm gonna give myself until I go to sleep tonight to do the end of it. How It Ends is the audiobook that I'm listening to. I've got just less than half an hour left, so kind of breeze through that. And then I'll finish probably Marco Valdo. I don't know. How It Ends is interesting. I think I'll do a recap at the end. Alright, you guys, you are balancing on my backpack, so we'll see how this goes. This is the conclusion to the reading 7 books in 7 days challenge that ended 2 months ago. So basically, if you've been watching my videos, I was waiting until I had finished another book, because during the challenge I finished 6 books, but I recently uploaded the footage that I had, and I didn't really ever conclude the 6th book. Anyway, so I finally finished Marco Valdo, this guy. I enjoyed it, but it was real weird. It was a series of short stories about the same dude who had generally good intentions, or at least understandable intentions. Like, some of it was kind of selfish, but in the, steal bread to feed your family kind of way. But Yeah, generally I liked it. It did take me a long time to finish because he was so cringe. I know, I'm millennial, whatever. But he was very cringy, some of the stuff he was doing. There's also a lot of stories that just, I wanted him to take out a smartphone and figure it out. Like, he got, in one of the short stories, I'm sorry, some spoilers. In one of the short stories, he just gets lost because of the fog. And so if he had a smartphone, he, you know, wouldn't have been lost. Uh, but so did I say I'm at an airport? I'm at an airport. If you watch my vlogs, I think in a future vlog you'll see where I am now. Anyway. But yeah, so I mean, this was in the 50s and 60s, so he obviously did not have a smartphone. But throughout it, just kind of made me think of like, how did people like this survive before smartphones? Because there are plenty of like well-intentioned buffoons. I don't know if he's a buffoon. Well-intentioned numbskulls. Yep, that's what I'm gonna say. It's a well-intentioned numbskull. Yeah, that exists nowadays, and are just trying to like figure life out and find joy and all of that, but you know, have to work a boring job to survive, and so then they find parts of that job that they enjoy. Anyway, but the reason that they don't all die is because, you know, they can pull up Google Maps or look up, is this mushroom poisonous? No spoilers, but although I guess like they would have to think to Google if the mushroom is poisonous. Anyway, so yeah, I guess just pure luck. There were several times where one of the things that I didn't like about it is how, so it's a short story from each season over 5 years, like winter, spring, summer, fall. And so he, so he's, yeah, the focus. The way the short stories would end, you didn't always have like a conclusion. It's like he did this horrible thing, and then the police showed up. End of story. But then, you know, 3 months later, next season, he's free and just we don't talk about it. So I don't know what happened. He doesn't have enough money to pay them off, so I don't know. All right, so to conclude the challenge, because I need to head to my gate soon, I finished 6 books in the 7 days, but then I also read 2 half books, 2 halves, half of 2 different books. One being this one, the other one being The Cat Who Saved Books. I don't know. I haven't finished that one yet, and I didn't know how quickly I was going to finish this one on this trip, otherwise I would have brought that one, but I left it to save space in my bag. Anyway, so the other books, part of the benefit of doing this 2 months later is we'll see like how much these books actually stuck with me. So I uploaded the raw footage from the vlog, and it was about an hour long, so I didn't like, I was gonna try and edit it, but I don't have as much time as I once did. But I mean, that's another reason why this vlog took 2 months to make. Oh, but so I didn't edit it yet, but I did like skip around to make sure that I got the books. Some of them surprised me. So the first one, which I guess was the last one that I didn't actually finish talking about, was How It Ends. It was a murder mystery. I mean, you guys heard me talk about it recently, I guess. Basically, so I don't normally give books scores out of 5, but I'm going to. Just, it's fine.
don't worry about it. So I gave this one a 3 out of 5. It was pretty good, had lots of twists. I was able to predict some of the ending, but not all of the ending. And the bit that I couldn't predict, I don't think was telegraphed very well. I like being able to, like, when the reveal happens, and then they be like, oh, the detective or whoever's, we should have known because blah blah blah, or this is how I figured it out. And it's like, oh yeah, they did mention that. I didn't get that as much for this one. There was a different twist that I thought was gonna happen that I thought was telegraphed, at all. Anyway, but hey, trying not to do spoilers. I don't remember if I said I was going to do spoilers on this vlog or not. So, to be on the safe side, I'm not going to do too much of spoilers. Alright. Mark of Waldo, I'm giving a 3 out of 5 as well. It was good. It did feel kind of episodic and more like a show that you'd watch on Nick at Night, or the old TGIF lineup, where each episode was standalone, but it was the same characters that you were used to, and it was very humorous. Did I do that? Except not anywhere near as smart as Mr. Urkel. But yeah, it was a lot of, oh, I have this brilliant idea. Nobody's ever thought of that, and that is why I'm going to be great. And then doing the idea, it going horribly wrong, and being like, oh, that's why nobody else was doing this. That makes sense. The Cat Who Saved Books started, have not finished. It's going well. It is written at a lower grade level than I was expecting. I don't know how much of that is just because it is translated, because sometimes that can happen. The story, though, I am finding very interesting. But also, like, the main character is high school aged, so it could be written at a lower, like, level just for that. But still good story. Still good concept. So I don't know what to rate that because I haven't finished. Then there was The Hen Who Wished She Could Fly. Some of those are done by memory, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I love that one. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's probably a 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It was very sad. What did I say? Beautifully tragic about motherhood, identity, and friendship. That's my summary there. It was wonderful. Although I've been thinking about getting chickens in the future, and it kind of made me not want to have domestic chickens. I don't know. It did make me think about the whole like vegan, vegetarian lifestyle a little bit more. We'll say probably won't go full on. I don't know. Anyway, then there was In the Village That Is Not Burning Down. I gave it a 0.5 out of 5. I wanted to give you his theorem, since I couldn't. I mean, I could. I made up the rules, and ranking is stupid. Anyway, I just don't understand poetry, so maybe it was good poetry. But what I remember is there were good like couplets in there, but overall didn't enjoy it too much. Then I read Agnes Grey by Charlotte Bronte. Anne Bronte? One of the Bronte sisters. Can you hear that? Somebody left their radio. Anyway, it was lovely. I gave it a 4 out of 5. That like time period of literature is really comforting to me. Those are my cozy reads. Jane Austen, the Bronte sisters. Although Jane Eyre was very long. I wouldn't call that comfy. But it's exactly what I needed. It's kind of what I want to read right now. Something comfy. And that's probably what I'm going to read next, because I just finished my audio book that I was reading, as well as having finished my physical book, so I'm not sure what I'll read next. Part of me kind of wants to go murder, mystery, psychological thriller, Gone Girl, Girl on Train kind of book. The last one that I read, I think. Well, I guess I read How It Ends, and I read the Finlay Donovan is Killing It or something like that. Those aren't really psychological thrillers. Those are just murder mystery kind of books. Or mystery kind of books. I don't think anybody actually got murdered in How It Ends. I don't remember. Anyway, that's another reason I only got a 3 and not a 4. Let's see. Then I read, I don't know what order I read these in. 0 idea. But I read First Love by Turgenev. I did not write down the author. Russian book. I gave this a 2 out of 5 because I literally forgot that I read it. I don't remember anything about this book. There was like a party where everybody was talking about their first loves, and this guy told the story of his, but I could not tell you a single thing about his story. And then the last one on my list was One Little Mistake. Main character gets a DUI, but she thinks that it was like she shouldn't have gotten one. And I don't remember very much about it other than the whole ending I didn't feel like was telegraphed at all. Like, it did not make any, there were no hints at the twist, which, not my favorite. And I kind of feel like Agatha Christie does that too, because I've read several of her stories now, and that's why I don't think that she's that great of a murder mystery author. I said it. But also, she is a great murder mystery author. She just doesn't telegraph the whole thing. Or I should stop listening to murder mystery stuff or mystery books on audiobook because I miss things. Anyway, so I gave that one a 2 out of 5 as well. Basically, I am going to continue doing this challenge maybe every year, maybe another one in the fall. See like how timelines work out for other stuff I have going on. But it's not really a good thing for me to do because then I don't remember the books because I read them too quickly. Marco Valdo, I mean, I guess I just finished it, but I remember more of it because I read it over time and was able to absorb it. So I don't think this is a good challenge to do, but I'm gonna keep doing it. What book should I incorporate in my next one? If I'm gonna do one in the fall, should I try and do like, I don't know, autumnal spooky season kind of books? Do you have any suggestions of short ones of that? Like I think Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde I've already read, but it was really short, and so that would have been a good one for this kind of challenge. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done a challenge like this. Were you successful? Because so far I'm 0 for 2. If you want to see the last one, I'll have it linked down below or on the end screen somewhere. And I'm going to go to my gate so that I don't get left in Milwaukee. See you next time. Bye. And good night, sweet dreams. Bye.